Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Air Advocate, episode 196. We're at the On Air Advocate. We look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I'm super excited if you are up bright and early joining us this morning, or whether you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content that we are talking about could be relevant for anyone in your network or your circle, please share on whatever platform that you are on. Now, today we are continuing our mental health awareness series, and I am so excited to have here with me today Crystal Goliday. She is an author, a corporate and nonprofit executive, and an engineer. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm happy to be here. Happy Thursday.
Thank you for joining us so early in the morning. Ready to go.
No problem at all. You know, we have to get things done. The early bird catches the worm.
That's right. That's right. So, Crystal, you have not been on the show before, and I would love for you to just kind of share with the audience a little bit about your background.
Okay, so for me, I have both a business and technical background in regards to fields. But my passion is in philanthropy, giving back to our youth. And I also started my nonprofit where I'll also be giving back to domestic violence survivors. And for me, I'm a city girl, and I just love to just, give. Like if someone asks me, what is the adjective that you would characterize yourself as by using the first letter of your name, would be Karen Crystal. Because I want all of us to win. I share because I care.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to bring up as I climb as well.
Yes, and you know what? You have kind of interesting layers to your story. When we discussed things that you had to bring you to this place in your moments of grief, wellness, you know what I'm saying, that kind of had to take place. Like you had to find things along that journey, which has brought you to this point of prosperity and having these other things in place. And as we talk about mental health and mental wellness, I think that we all can speak to the fact that, we have had moments of grief, you know what I'm saying? And that sadness. And right now with this pandemic going on, I think for so many, it's developing that new normal and how is that going to be? And so I would love for you to kind of share with us that story for you and how you kind of came out of that, point of grief and sadness and, really went on a journey to wellness.
So for me, my journey with wellness started back in 2013. And it was because me saying yes to an opportunity that was presented to me. But the reason I say yes to opportunities is because one, I was getting married and I wanted to look great in my pictures, but also I saw my father deteriorate in front of me over 2 decades. All because he didn't take care of himself when it came to his high blood pressure. He was giving, working, taking care of 2 households. And it was a matter of him just not taking the time to take care of him, and all his things, his ailments compounded over time. So it was me learning from his experience and losing him while I was pregnant with my prince. And I feel like they crossed paths. Like when my dad was leaving, my son was coming into earth. So they do have a lot of similar mannerisms and look alike. So for me, I knew back then, I didn't know I was going to have a child. I knew I wanted to. I wanted to be able to be there, run around with my child and be active and just live, because I plan on living beyond 100. I'm claiming it. Let me knock on wood somewhere. So with that, losing one parent when I'm pregnant, and also when after my dad passed away, I passed out. I was in the emergency because I was dehydrated, and my family didn't know. So they found out I was pregnant at his funeral, but only select people knew. My dad knew, my mom knew. So fast forward to 5 years later, my mom has cancer, and she's in one state, I'm in another. I'm married, I have a child, and it's kind of like, okay, what is the process that we need to do? Because this is her second time having it. And one, it was in one part of her body, and had surgery, went to the appropriate treatments after and doctor's appointments, and they said, okay, we don't see it there anymore. Then several years later, it's in another part of the body, but oh, by the way, they do tests and they're like, we don't see it here, but we're going to treat it as this cancer. And oh, by the way, it's stage 4. So I'm like, okay, we'll conquer this. And I gave my mom a decision of, did she want to go back to where she got treated before, which is a great place, great reputation and everything like that, or go where she was, which is closer to home. And she decided to go with the services closer to home. And she ended up doing radiation and chemo, because the second one had to come about because she was having pains in her neck and her hip. And she didn't get past the end of that second treatment, compounded, because it moved to different parts of her organs and things of that nature. And she was in ICU for over a month. And it was hard, seeing her go through that. But you also want to have faith, right? So with me, it was kind of like she left decisions to me, because I was a healthcare advocate, power of attorney, admin of estate, and all that other stuff. So it was a matter of me thinking of what she wanted, because she was kind of a carefree person, like, you know what to do. And I'm like, okay. At least with my dad, he was like, no resuscitation. Like, just let me go. I want to be in peace. My mom was like, you figure it out. And then, so it was just hard seeing her there intubated, with the breathing tube, and then having to make the decision to do the trach and all that other stuff. And
of losing your dad a few years prior, right?
And guess what? They were in the same hospital, on the same floor, different ICUs.
Oh my gosh. So it must have been very surreal for you during that as well.
For sure. And what, I don't know if everyone knows, like in hospitals, they have a advocate center. And I'm not sure if it was just this hospital or not, but when I had to make decisions for my dad, we went there for a meeting or whatever, and after he passed. But for my mom, I utilized that place. Right. Every day I went there, because I was sleeping in the hospital. I'm not leaving my mom here. Between my aunt and I, we were alternating days. But for me, being that I was heavy in my wellness journey, I ended up working out in the hallways. I ended up going to stores just to get food, to have that walk in fresh air. I had my AirPods. I actually wrote my book on the side of her bedside in ICU, and just had my AirPods, would listen to things on Audible or play music for her, and just keep my wellness in place as much as I can. Granted, it wasn't perfect, but still trying to sow seeds in me, because I knew that it was going to be a tough journey. And I knew I didn't want to be in a hospital like I was in the hospital when my dad passed away. So when you're going through a tough situation, and just period, every day, you should wake up and do something for you. Be it meditation, be it prayer, be it working out, be it drinking some water, going to the bathroom, just having some time for yourself. Because, we all, once the world hits us, it's going to start pulling and pulling and pulling. So we just have to take care of ourselves in some type of way. And in that situation, it's even more strenuous, where you have to put that extra effort in.
Yeah. And like you were saying, even if it is those reprieves of a little walk, and just, it's a little thing. Sometimes people, when they think of wellness and self-care, they think of like they need to go on a trip, right? Or they need to go somewhere like that. We can practice self-care and wellness a little bit every day in everything we do, those little things.
And it doesn't have to be grand. You're right. So like, even now, being that most places are still stay-at-home orders, like getting up and walking in between meetings, or doing the exercise, or, making sure you're drinking water, just different things like that can help you to live a healthier life.
Right. And with all of that, in your journey, losing, both of your parents, and that, where did that bring you to a place of creating all these wonderful things, really, of that, that spirit of you were saying, caring crystal, of giving back and putting those things together?
So for me, it was a wake-up call when they passed, that life is short. And my dream of having my Leadership and Learning Development Center was like several decades ago, dream of mine. Back when I was in undergrad, I thought of doing it, but I didn't pursue it because I was on a path of that my parents told me, go to school, go to college, work for a company, retire. So checking off all those boxes, but I always suppress my things that I wanted to do, because I'm like, okay, well, I need to make sure that I'm on the right track, have this steady income, and I'm feeding to other people's goals and not mine. So for me, the reason why I ended up putting things in high gear during that time is because there's no time like the present.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wake-up call for me. And in order for my dash, because we all have our beginning date and end date, to mean something and me to leave this earth and know that I've done all, I wanted to start doing more and not spreading myself thin, giving to everyone else and learning the power of the word no.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was a wake-up call for me, because something is always going to pull you. And I realized that now's the time.
Right. And if we extract anything from this, it's taking those moments and embracing them, right? Finding those little moments for yourself and really moving forward. So can you tell me a little bit about your nonprofit organization?
Most definitely. One other thing I want to talk about before we jump into that for the grief aspect, grief counseling. It's been very, very helpful. And I highly recommend that if someone is going through grief, especially now, companies and organizations, even your insurance, have more resources for that, because it's hard what we're going through now. And I even have free sessions.
Okay.
6 to 8 free sessions for grief counseling. So it's okay to talk to someone, because you can talk to your spouse or talk to your friends, but they're going through their own stuff. You want that unbiased party to kind of just talk everything out. So that's been helpful for me. So that's why I wanted to make sure I said that.
Yes. And, we talked about on Monday when we kicked off our series with Andy Riggs, we were talking about having those real convos, which is a campaign for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, that we just make sure that we're having real conversations, just putting it out there. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to reach out to others during this time.
Exactly. And I know, like, in the African-American community, sometimes looking at counseling or talking about your stuff outside of the home, outside of the family, is a faux pas kind of deal. But we need to get out of that, because sometimes we're keeping in things that's eating us up inside. And I know for me, I used to suffer from migraines a lot because I was handling and dealing with other people's problems that are not even here in my home. So I had to realize to let go of that. And that came from different testing, like doing neurology, changing my diet, speaking to a therapist, and it all boiled down to stress for my migraine headaches.
Yes. No, that is so important, and to be connected. And so you're offering free sessions for that. And after the show, I would love for you to drop below if you have any other resources, because I know we talked about you're in Washington, right?
I am, and I'm not offering free sessions. EAP, Employee Assistance Program, through your jobs will offer free sessions. And then also when it comes to things like insurance, they may have different initiatives. So that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Not myself. That's not my area of expertise. I was like, I'm quick to say when it's not my area of expertise, but I do have a good network where, I could recommend people if need be.
Okay. No, that would be great. And afterwards, I think the more resources that we can give that are national resources, but as well as local resources, I think that that's great. So when we wrap up the show later, if you can drop in the comments below, just some of those resources that you think are so beneficial in your area, or nationally, that you have reached out to. So tell me about this nonprofit.
Okay, so my nonprofit is Never Underestimate Knowledge. The acronym is NOOK and UK. And it is to provide resources for inner city youth and domestic violence survivors. And the reason why I chose those two groups, because I am a city girl. I'm from Co-op City in the Bronx in New York. And I found that when I was growing up, there was inequalities in regards to information that was shared. So I want to be that hub to provide resources, from forms of information to scholarships and things of that nature, to inner city youth. And then I having a fundraiser for that, which got pushed to next year. So it's May 1st, 2021. I chartered a private boat to raise funds for scholarships for inner city youth, for them to go to college, but then also to start their own business, because we know entrepreneurship, and we're both entrepreneurs, is a big thing as well, and college is not for everyone. So that's one arm of it. And then domestic violence is another arm, because for me, I had an experience with an ex where it became very violent to the point that the police got involved, the courts got involved. But I received a lot of support, yes, from family and friends, but also from people I didn't know through services that are out there. And I want to be those services to domestic violence survivors. From a standpoint, I have received services from my legal team to go through 2 trials with my ex, to relocation, them paying for that, to a therapist and things of that nature. So I want to be able to give back in those avenues, and those play a special part in my heart.
I love that. Now you also wrote a book, correct?
I did.
Young people get
Yes.
funding.
Yeah, so it's how to get a college degree for free. And the website is how to get a college degree for free.com. And I released it actually on my birthday. I had a big birthday celebration and book launch, and we're in pre-launch now. So people get a hard copy and signed copy from me now if they go to that site. But the reason why I did that book is because I got not 1, not 2, but 3 college degrees for free from different funding sources. And a lot of people have asked me over the years, how did I do it? And share the story, or if, you share that information, I surely would be able to use it. And instead of me like spreading myself so thin and, I'm only one person, I want to share it and document my journey, but then also actionable steps for other people to do it. And, oh, by the way, I laid out some majors and started them off with the list. And also I listed a good amount of resources in the book as well. So it's to jumpstart people's searches, and so that they know what to do. In addition, I'll be adding consulting services, because some people may not want to take the actionable steps. Well, I shouldn't say may not want to. They may need a little bit more guidance with taking it a step further and want my expertise. So I'm going to be offering that soon. And it's not just for the high school student going to college. Someone in middle school could pick it up and you could start it. Like, I'm doing a Saturday noon live series this month, and I started it off with scholarships last Saturday. And this Saturday, I'm going to talk about fellowships and alumni funding. And each Saturday, I'm talking about different funding sources. Right. And I found out with scholarships, you can start getting scholarships as young as 13 or a high school freshman. So it could be middle schoolers, high schoolers. It could be someone wanting to go to grad school from undergrad, or it could be someone wanting to re-enter. Because for me, with my graduate degrees, I did a gap year, and then I was working full time while I received my 2 graduate degrees. So there's different funding sources and different entry points where you can come into college, that I wanted to make people aware, like, my book is not just for the entry, the normal path, because in life, everyone doesn't take that one path.
Right. And I know that you also provide some support, like a mom talk, right?
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about that.
So Mom Talk is an outlet and a talk show that I started for once a month for moms or women that are interested in being moms. And I have it, the next one is actually next Wednesday, May 20th. And we talk about topics that are on our minds that we may talk about in little groups. And I get experts from my amazing network to talk about that topic, dive into it. And I usually have a special something that guest mom delivers to a lucky live participant. And I post it on YouTube when it's over. However, getting into that live session, they drop a lot of golden nuggets. You can ask your questions and things of that nature. So I have it once a month because, of course, having it every week would just be too much for me. And I want to make sure I bring good people and I have good topics, and we all have busy schedules. So I have that once a month to be that outlet for us, because as moms, we're spread very, very thin, as you know as well. This is your mom, and we talked about our situation. So that's our home to let our hair down. Like last month, we talked about a mom tribe. Why is it important? And there's a group here called District Motherhood. I had the 2 co-founders on it. I had a healthcare advocate, Shantana May, who's an author as well. And then I had Vita Bratton, who is a homeschooler, who before we even knew that we were going to be stay at home and teachers and all that, she taught us about homeschooling and marketing and stuff. And then I also had Kelly, who's out in California, who's a lawyer, who did the Harmony Planner, it's a planner for moms. So she talked about that in December, because I just started in December. So I'm going on my 6th one this month. And it's been very interactive. People have been seeing a lot of value out of it. And I also have one of my mentors, Lucinda Cross, come on there, talk about the big ask, not being afraid to ask. And that's right. Her thing, and she has a big event. So that's one of, the many hats.
Right. Which you wear so many, but I love you have so much passion behind all the things you do, driven by your purpose, Crystal. And I think that is so wonderful. As we kind of wrap up today, and we are talking about mental health, and we're talking about wellness and grief and all of that, is there anything you'd like to kind of leave the audience with today to kind of, resonate with them?
So if you think of an analogy, when you have a cup, right, and you're pouring into something else, you can't pour from an empty cup. So definitely fill your cup up first with taking some time, even if it is just setting your clock 15 minutes earlier to have 5 minutes to yourself. And take breaks throughout the day. Figure out what's important to you and set your morning routine. If you're not a morning person, you may do it in the evening. And remember that we're all blessed to be here. Like, a lot of people are not waking up, and a lot of people are going through situations, and we're all going through something. But do a gratitude journal, do something that is going to help you self-reflect, because that's a lot that we're able to do right now. And just be happy. And one thing that I have as my screensaver, it's definitely resonates with me because of this time. It's called rest, reset, release, redefine, realign. Make sure you come out of the cocoon as a butterfly.
Okay, we need that. We need that in the comments. Because or you after, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll send you a lot of stuff after, because I want to compile those resources and stuff. But it's kind of like, during this time, yes, to a caterpillar, it is hard to, go through the whole metamorphosis. And, some people may look at it, and the caterpillar may look at it as the end. But through the process and through our staying at home, we're able to focus more than probably what we normally would. And we'll come out as a butterfly soaring, with the pretty wings, and being refocused, re-energized on what's important to us. And that's what I'm making sure I do during this time.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
Thanks for having me. Yes.
Thank you for sharing with our audience today, and giving them your journey and your story. So I wanted you to, before we wrap up completely, where is the best place for people to find you?
So I have my website, which is being updated, but Goliday.com. That's Crystal, Crystal, Goliday, Goliday. It's like holiday, but starts with a G.com. And on the bottom of it, it has my social media links. So you can connect with me from one of my social media links. There's a contact button there. And, I'm active. So let's connect. And if there's any way I can help you, let me know. And then, my book is available, How to Get a College Degree for Free.com. In addition to my fundraiser that's taking place next year, which is NUK, N-U-K, fundraiser.eventbrite.com. And the tickets are only $50, and it's a private boat that I chartered. You're going to get food, music, and all the money that's purchased for the ticket or donated is tax deductible, because it's a 501c3 organization.
Well, next May, our outlook would set to stay positive. We need to reconnect next, May, April, before your event, and see where things are at, and make sure that people have all that information. But until then, Crystal, when we get off of this live, you can just drop those resources for your area you were talking about, and your information in the comments. That would be great.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. I really appreciate you sharing with our audience. If anybody else wants to know more about the On Air Advocate and the resources that we have to provide, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com, and that will give you all of our social media platforms and all of our resources right there. If you're viewing this right now on Facebook and you want to become part of our private Facebook community, head up to the top of this page, hit the blue button, and that will let you in. So with that, Crystal, hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for being a ray of sunshine with us this morning.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye, Crystal.
Bye, everyone. Take care.